Alright, sharp on time, 8:30 p.m. and we are now live. Alright, so now we have covered class 1, 2, 3 and this class 4. Class 4 we go slightly more advanced but not really advanced in the sense that this requires some skill expertise. The good news is that even if you do not have this expertise or skill, it's 100% learnable and that's the best part. So the first one that we cover in class 1 is called simple selling. That's the simplest way to get started. Find things that you have and start selling on the internet, which we'll cover more the next following week and then the next following week. Idea number 2 is basic e-commerce selling, where you find other people's product to sell, right? And then idea number 3 is called Lazada affiliate program, which means that instead of you finding other people's product or selling your own product, you can promote thousands of products that belongs to lazada.com, and then when you share you can earn affiliate commission. So we understand all of that. So those 3 ideas doesn't really require any so-called expertise. Idea number 4 here right now I want to share with you is called design work or video work. It doesn't matter which one that you choose, whether you want to do design or whether you want to do video. Now, so here's the thing. If you have some basic, like really basic expertise of using the computer, right, using website and so on, this is something that is 100% doable. Now, it will not be doable for you if you are, I'm just going to give an extreme example, that you are afraid of the computer, right? And I'm not trying to be funny, but there are people who are actually afraid of the computer as like, they're afraid to press this button and so on, and they're concerned and things like that. Now, again, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just trying to paint a picture so that you understand where I'm coming from. Like for instance, right? Like my father-in-law will know how to use the computer, but he is not an expert. Like he will know how to say use Gmail, but it takes him maybe a few minutes to find the button to attach a file, right? So he is not afraid, but to do design, it is like impossible for him to do that. Now, the person who is like afraid to use computer or don't know at all would be like, for instance, like my mom. My mom wouldn't know how to use computer at all in that sense, right? So definitely she cannot use this at all. So you must somehow feel familiar with the computer. You must be able to do that. Then only you can use idea number 4. Are we all clear here? It doesn't require you to be a designer. It doesn't require you to be a video editor, but you must have this basic sense of using the internet and computer. Are we clear? Just let me know in the comments there so that you understand this basic understanding before we'll move on. I'm not too sure whether the streaming is a bit lagging and so on. So the response comes in a bit slow as I'm not seeing any response yet. So if you hear me, do a response accordingly so that I can continue the class and to teach you, right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? So although it's a bit advanced, why is there an opportunity to make side income with graphics, or I should say, I'll use the word design. Design relates to images like graphics, stagnant, right? And also video work. Why would there be an opportunity for you to make side income with that? Because of 2 simple reasons. The first one is that there will be people who would not know how to do this at all. And there are a lot of people who do not know how to do this at all. So sometimes we sort of assume that because we know, other people will also know. But that's not true on the internet, because when it comes to the internet, we're reaching hundreds of people, we're reaching thousands of people. Or if you build like an online business, you reach even more people. So we cannot assume that, hey, if I know this, therefore they will also know, right? So it's very likely that a lot of people do not know about doing basic graphics or doing any video editing. So even if you're someone who, let's say, like your phone, and then you like to edit video, edit images on your phone, right? You think you know how to do that and everybody else know? That's not true. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Like including me, I don't use any app on the phone to edit any images and so on. I just don't do that. Whether I do not know, whether I do not have time, whatever it is, I just don't do that. My point is that there are people who don't do it or they do not know how to do it, right? And that gives you an opportunity. That becomes a vacuum for you to come in to make some side income. And the second reason why there's an opportunity to make side income with this is because people do not have the time to do it, right? So you can help them and then you get paid for that. If you remember my previous classes, I explained that what we're trying to achieve here is called trying to make some side income. Why we want to make side income? Because of the financial constraint that we have right now. So that if we can make a few hundred per month, that's going to ease some financial burden, whether to pay the bills, groceries, your children's things that you need to pay, and so on, right? So instead of you struggling to get a few hundred or even 1,000 ringgit, or needing to withdraw from KWSP, maybe you can skip doing that for the next 6 months and try to make some side income. And because we are making side income, this is not a business, this is side income. Side income is usually defined by you exchanging or trading time for money. And this is going to be for the time being so that we have money. So right now, if you don't have money but you have time, right? What are you going to do with the time? Do you see where I'm coming from? So you got to use your time wisely so that you can make some extra side income. And it is no means of building a business, because if you attend my past classes, I've explained that to build a business, you need to have four ingredients. The first one is that you must have money to build a business. I do not know which experts or guru says that you don't need money and so on to build a business as a newbie. That would be very confusing message, because just think, if you want to build a business, you need to advertise a business. So that means that you need cost, right? So if you don't advertise a business, it's going to be relatively very slow for you to get started. The second thing is that you need to learn a lot. I mean, it took you years to study just to get a job. So comprehend that. And now we want to attend a weekend class and then we want to become entrepreneurs. It doesn't really work that way. Do you see where I'm coming from? And the third thing is that you need customer support. You need support in order for you to embark on a new journey, right? And the fourth thing is that you must be ready to lose in order for you to win in business. In the sense that you're going to lose money, you're going to lose time, you're going to lose all of this, so that you can learn from your mistakes. So if we don't have that luxury of that four things at this moment of time, then it's okay. We just don't focus on building business. We focus on making side income, because side income is relatively easy, which I just shared with you the first three ideas. And I think that is highly achievable for someone who is dedicated to achieving success for himself or herself. And now we're going to go for idea number 4, right? So how do you actually create images or design? So I'm going to cover two things today. I'm going to show you my computer screen soon by using really simple tools. And if you remember through my previous classes, I explained that anything that I cover in the ideas, it is either low cost, like really low cost, or it is free, I would say zero cost in order for you to get started. So I want to share with you two resources. One on how to do the design, to do the graphics. There is the free version, which has certain limitation, but that's okay to get started with. But it comes with a 30-day free trial, which means that you can start to make side income now during the trial, so that you can so-called reinvest back and pay for the software too if you want to continue, right? Important disclaimer, I make nothing whatsoever by sharing these resources for you. These are not my company's product. There's no referral link, there's nothing, right? I'm just sharing the resource. So today's class is about conceptualizing the idea. So what I've covered to you is very simple. To make side income, you can do design or you can do video for people. We're not going to cover like how to find people and all this kind of stuff, because that's going to be in class, the next week's class and the next week's class. Because the first week class is all about ideas, so that you get it, like this is what you can do, right? Then next week's class is how to start, like how to actually get started, right? And then the third week is how to promote whichever idea that you want to use with, right? So why there's a side income opportunity, I'm just saying this again because there's no presentation slide. I just want to make sure that you hear it clearly, is that there are people who would never know how to do this. And second, there are people who are too busy to do this, right? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so the website is called canva.com. Now, canva.com is a platform that allows you to do all kinds of designs. Now, the best part is that you don't need to be a guru, you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to go to some college or university to learn how to do designs, because it's all template based and it's intuitive that anybody can actually use this. And I'm going to show to you exactly anybody can use this, right? So before we continue from here, let me share with you, is there a fee for this? So if I click on plans here, you will see that it is free and you have all these features, which is, I think, is sufficient for you to get started with. But let's say you want to unlock all these other features, then it is only 29.90 cents, 29.90 cents per month for the fee for the software. Again, I made nothing whatsoever it is. I'm not endorsing this because I made a cut or this is my company, this is my friend's company. No, it is not. I'm just telling you that this is what this website charge, right? So you're looking at about RM1 a day for your operation cost for that matter. If you just think again, that's kind of ridiculously super cheap, right? Again, we're going to talk about like how to start, how much should you charge next week and so on. But you start to see where I'm coming from. Even let's say a graphic sells for, I'm just making this up, let's say it's 10 ringgit, right? If you just do one graphics a day, you would have made 300, right? Which you would have 10x your 29.90 cents per month expenses. You see where I'm coming from? But I'm not saying that you're going to make 300 a month, right? I'm not saying that you make 100, 300 or 3,000. I'm not saying that, right? But I just want you to understand that cost is relatively nothing once you start making your side income for that matter, all right? So this is something that you can go through about that. So let me just share with you what do I mean by how simple it is for you to actually use this software, right? So what kind of design that we want to build? There are plenty of stuff here, but we're not going to look into this because when I teach you how to start the design business, right, we're going to focus on two types of design. One is social media design, because that is the broadest market of all. That is where the most people that you can reach, the most potential prospects that are available. And the second type of design are covers design. Covers design will be like a book cover design, a t-shirt design, and so on, right? So we're just going to focus on those two to keep things that really, really simple. Now, of course, you can go in and learn and use any other things. My job as a teacher is to give you the idea, to give you the guideline. You will explore accordingly how you're going to go from here, right? So let me see everything's here. Okay, all right. So now, let's say we go to here and then we are looking for something really simple here. Let's say I'm just going to do design for Facebook, right? Let me just go and click on Facebook here. Now, let me say this again, right? When I do this kind of training, the social project training, my goal is to make sure that I'm teaching something so simple that anyone can do this. Whether you are a mom at home, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you are a fitness instructor, whether you work in the office, whether you're an admin clerk, it is something that you can understand. You must understand where I'm coming from. We are not here to teach you about internet marketing, digital marketing, building online business and all that kind of stuff, because that would be too much to actually help you to move forward to make your side income. So it's all about simplicity here. But what's more important, simplicity that works, right? So people who are attending this class here could be my neighbors, right? Could be older uncles, could be older aunties and so on, right? So we're going to do things that where when I do this training, I must always think of my attendees, of my students. All right, how can I teach that everybody can actually follow this regardless of what background, what experience that they actually have? So let's go back here right now. So let's say I want to create a design. I'm just going to show to you how simple it is. So let's say I'm going to do this newsroom Facebook post, right? So right now we're using the free account, so we can use the free templates. Now you see this crown thing, it means that you need to pay for that, which costs you 29 ringgit and 90 cents per month, which is relatively very affordable, right? So we're not going to choose the one with the crown because it's going to cost money right now. So let's say I want to use this and I click here, and guess what? The design has already been done. So let's say I'm creating this social media for a page that's related to vacation by the beach, right? Let's say. And then I can just go ahead and edit accordingly. I can say, here's how you can do the design. See how awesome is that? And you could have zero skill set about design, right? And you can highlight this and change the color. And if I use purple, then see where I'm coming from. So it's really straightforward. Anybody who is familiar with computer and using Facebook, probably you will know how to use this. And the good news is that if you are attending this class right now, you are on Facebook. So I would assume that you know how to use computer in that sense. So same thing here, the graphics. If I don't want this, I can go ahead and change the graphics, right? And I can change the graphics, and to do that, right, I'll just click on photos here, and I can change whatever photos that we have here. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and click this just for the sake of demonstration. Oops, sorry, this thing just comes up. Let me just close you. Okay, let's click here. All right, so it says it's free. Great. So let's go ahead and click it, and you see that the graphics now comes in. So I can just move it this way, and if I don't want this picture, I'll just click the delete button on my computer, and then I move this thing here. And see that? Isn't it incredible how intuitive the software is right now? Now, this is not a class on how to do design or how to use the software. This is a class where I'm going to give you the idea on how to make side income, right? So I will be the teacher to teach you that. I'm not a teacher to teach you how to do design. I hope you understand. I'm going to point to you all the resources accordingly. So you have all these features here to help you to achieve this. So for those of you who have never seen this before, right, is this incredible or what, that it is actually available for free at your disposal right now, right? If this is something that is useful for you, let me know in the comments as well. Now, you see, the thing is that the platform comes with all the tutorials that you need. So in other words, right, if you have the heart to learn, that you have the hunger to actually make side income, you can learn this and probably master this within the next few days. Seriously, it's really up to your own desire to master this or not. Because if I was to browse this to the bottom here, you will see the training that they have. Hold on. Okay, design size guide, ideas. Wait a second. I could not find that right now. I think it's here. Okay, there's the guide here, which I am not able to find the guide right now. This is the plan. Yeah, learn, right? So if I want to learn, I just click on tutorials here, and it has all the training that I need to use this tool, right? So getting started, all right, click here, and it has all the videos to teach you how to get started. And let's go back here, designing with Canva, click here. Oh my gosh, see how many videos that are available to teach you how to do this? So when I pick the ideas, right, I want to make it sure there are three things. First, that they are either low cost or zero cost to actually do it. The second thing is that there must be additional training that you can learn by yourself, and you learn from the internet, from the software website itself, or go to YouTube, go to google.com, not learning from me, right? I have nothing for you. My job here is to help you, and then after that, you can learn additional resources elsewhere and for 100% free. So if this training is not enough, I just went to google.com and do a simple search called Canva design tips. You can do Canva design tips, Canva design ideas, and so on. Just have fun with Google to come up with ideas for you. So I do not know what's this, but I'm going to go ahead and click and see what it is, right? If I search for Canva design tips, and this is 25 design tips for non-designers and beginners. That's you and me, right? Non-designers and beginners. So here we go. So much knowledge and content at your disposal, right? Isn't that beautiful that you can learn all of this for free today, right? So if I browse this here, there are going to be more things that you can learn for free. So this is the first resource that I'm going to share with you on how you can actually do designs with no expertise. You didn't go to any design college or design school. None of those are required. All right. So I'm going to take a short break by drinking some water. So I'm just gonna see the comments there. All right. So Lim Yi, oh yeah, new to me, fantastic, right? So of course you can use this for your own thing, whatever that you do as well. But the purpose that I'm covering here is to talk about how to use this to create side income. So let me just go ahead and drink some water. And before we go for the next tool, I want you to go ahead and click the share button right now because someone has expressed kindness to you. And here's your chance to do the same for them, right? Do it. Don't be selfish. So let me drink some water. I think I'm going to sneeze again. Okay, no sneeze. That's good. All right, so let's go ahead and change the screen here. All right, so now that's the first one, and now we're gonna go for the second one. Like, how can you do videos without being an expert? Just like me, no expertise with video. How can you actually do that? So I'm gonna share with you the next resource. And this has been my secret resource that I've been using to creating my own videos. But right now I'm teaching you not to create for your own video because you don't have a business. Why would you want to create a video, right? But how you can create this video and do for others at that time, right? Okay, so let me share with you the resource here. Okay, so the software that I use is called Vimeo.com, right? So Vimeo.com is like YouTube.com, where you can use it to host videos. So I use Vimeo.com to host all my videos, my video training, and so on. So I host it there. So I have to pay a fee for that. So we'll check how much Vimeo will charge, but they have like 30 days free to do that. Now the only thing is that before I do this training, I haven't read the terms and conditions whether if you create video from Vimeo, are you allowed to do it for clients or not, right? So you need to do your reading for that. But even though if it doesn't allow you to do that, then the solution is to find other video creating software, and there are plenty of those in the market today. If you just use google.com and then you search, you probably can find some of them right now, but the charge will be different. I'm using Vimeo is because I can walk you through simply because I've used it and I think that it is quite intuitive, right? So let me show that to you. But again, let me say this again, right? I do not know the terms and conditions that Vimeo has, whether are you allowed to create the videos and then do it as a service for other people, right? So that's something that you need to sort it out. So can someone type in the comments there, vimeo.com. So vimeo.com, like I say, it's a video streaming platform that you can put your videos there so that if you have videos on your website, so you use Vimeo instead of you use YouTube. But they also have this feature called Vimeo Create. Vimeo Create allows you to create video very intuitive. So it could take you just 5 or 10 minutes, okay, maybe a bit more, maybe 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to create a nice video. So let me share that with you. I click on new video right now, and it's gonna give to you all kinds of templates that you can choose from. All right. So if you do not know how to use that, then you're going to use the tour. Then it sort of tell you how to do all of these and so on. They have all the tutorials that you need. Anyway, we are here right now. As you can see, there are all the templates that I need right now. And I'm telling you that these templates, it is more than enough, right? So let's say I want this template. Let's say, okay. So let's view this template and unmute. See how nice the video is. Okay, so it's a short video, and before we continue, let me share with you what kind of video that you want to create. You're creating video for basically three purposes, right? If you're creating video for someone, three purposes. One, it is video for product, so it's to demonstrate a product. Second, video for social media. So sometimes they want to release content, they need short video, blurbs, and so on. And the third one, video for teaser. So like website teaser, like a software has to be announced, like a restaurant. Those are all the teaser type of video. So there are only three types of video that you want to create. So once you know what kind of video that you want to create, you can go ahead and look for the templates. Let's say I'm creating a video for, say, some food, like food delivery, let's say, right? So let's say it sells cupcakes. So let's type maybe food, right? And food ads, okay? Just click on food ads. So now I can use this. Let's say I want to create a video teaser on let's say I'm doing this video for someone who sells catering food, right? So I will just go ahead and click this here, right? And then click on customize. And then you can just follow through the steps, right? So if I don't want to do anything unique and so on, I can just go ahead and come here, right? And then I can just change this picture accordingly. And the reason why I need to change this picture because I'm not selling these fruits, right? I'm not creating a video for this fruit. I'll be creating a video for that particular product. So I'll just need to click this replace button and I can change. Now for just the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to choose some other videos that they have here. So let's say cupcakes, okay? Let's say I want this cupcake. So I'm just going to select this cupcake and click replace. And now I have a new video replacing the previous video. See that? So wait for a few more seconds. It's loading the video. The key thing I want to share with you is how cool the software is and how easy for you to actually do this, okay? All right, so now I have this video, right? So this video has been replaced because I've selected this new video, right? And if I want to add any text on this video, I can control all of this. So you see here, I can click on text and then I'll say cupcakes delivered to your house, okay? Click done. And then you see that this cupcake delivered to your house will now appear. Of course, this design is not nice because I didn't really do nicely and things like that. But if I want to do nicely, let me show you how cool it is. I can just select this and I can do different kind of animation. Maybe I want to do this kind of animation. See that? Or I can do this kind of animation, this type of animation. I can play around with that. I can change color. So let's say I use this. Okay, so then go back here. And now I want to change the color. So I don't want it to be this color. Now, by the way, the cover is intuitive because it has its own AI, because your background is brownish, so that's why the text look like that. It has all these things blend in, right? And it has these palettes so that if you don't want to play around with your own sense of coloring, you can just choose the one that they have. So if I choose this, right, it's different. It's gonna be different. You see this now is white. Just now it was different color. As you can see, the color has just changed. Anyway, I can see change here, and it changed whatever color that I want. As you can see, the green color doesn't really look that nice. So it sort of suggests to you the color that it feels going to be suitable for you. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and click to the next one. As you can see, by using the template, it already have the animation, the color, and so on that it will propose for you. And then this one here, if you change this, I click edit. The brand name is Cupcakes or Cupcakes. Okay, Cupcakes or Cupcakes. Let's say this is the brand. So now click done. You see that it changed, right? Now, as you can see, this is too big, right? So it can't really fit in. That's okay. You can still play around with it. I can just change it to be like this, and now it becomes like this. But then you feel that, but it can't really fit in, right? That's okay, because all of these are movable. See that? Okay. So now it becomes like this. And this one, the same thing. If you want it to be bigger, you can just change this to be bigger. And you're good to go. And then if you want to add more slides, you just click add scene, and then you can choose whether you're gonna add text or you're gonna add more media. As in, like, does your video needs to have more pictures or more videos? If you need that, you just click here. Then let's say I just want to add images, so click here. Then I'll call it, say, let's say more cupcakes. Okay, cupcakes. Let's see what images they have. It has all the images built in for you already. So if I click here, I click on add, and now I have added another image for my entire video. See that? So it's very intuitive. The first time you use, it could take you a while for you to sort of figure out, but after you play with it for a while, you sort of get the hang of it. Maybe take you a few days, but what is few days? If your situation right now is that, hey, you know, whether I do it or I don't do it for me to start making some money. There you go. So I hope that you have learned this resource. So those are the idea that I wanted to share with you. So we're gonna do some Q&A right now. So Alvester Websby Live, what is the suggested length of video for any social media posting? Now, if it's just a teaser to get attention, if it's going to be used as like an ad, I think anything less than 1 minute would be fine, right? That's how I look at it. So it depends on what it's going to be. So for me, if it's going to be a video more like an ad, or like Facebook and things like that, I try to keep it like less than a minute or maximum less than 2 minutes. That's a wrap for today's class. Hi everybody, this is Prashant. So what we'll do in this second week is basically to continue from first week. The first week is where we share all of the 5 ideas on how to create side income during the economic crisis. This is class 9, or I could say day 9, where we are going to look into idea number 4, which is the design/video work. So when we have the idea about how to create side income with the design and the video work, the question is that how do I get started? Each class that we have, it's going to be very straightforward and simple to get started. There's no fancy like 10 action item to-do list and stuff like that. No, it's only like 1 or 2 action that you need to do, and that's about it. So nothing complicated. So the idea number 4 about the design and the video work, it requires some skill set. Idea 1, 2, 3, it is something that is more common for everybody in the sense that you do not need any additional resources, you don't need any expertise, and so on, right? But idea number 4, you got to have some of that, and then you're going to find your ways on how to learn how to create videos or create design. So now we want to get started. So let's say idea number 4 works for you, and okay, I get it, I love it, and all right, I think I can do it. So how do I actually get started? Because that's like the biggest burning question that most people have, right? They learn something, they love it, and then they always say, how do I get started? Now, the first thing that you want to know is that getting started is just about understanding what is the first step that you need to do. What is the exact step that you need to do? Because most people do not get started because they are thinking so many things, and it just become overwhelmed and do not know how to get started. So you need to identify what you want to do. So are you going to do the video or you're going to do the images? the design. So the better opportunity would be definitely be the video because less people are able to do the video. So I'm gonna go ahead with the video, but if you can't do the video, if you want to do the images, you can as well. But for explaining today, I will just choose the video, right? So that's the first thing that you want to choose. What you want to do. Is it the design or is it the video? So if we choose the video, then the next thing is that we need to decide for what, right? So in class 4, I've given to you some examples, or in fact some categories, like for instance, is it for social media? Is it for a teaser? Is it for a product, and so on? So what I'm going to go with is basically for social media, but for Facebook. And the reason why we choose for Facebook is because the market is extremely big, that it can also be done outside of Malaysia if you happen to want to grow further in the future, right? And Facebook, it's like there are like millions of pages right now, so there is bound to be an opportunity that you can tap on if you are going to take some action and start approaching other people whether they want the video or not, right? So what kind of Facebook page that I'm referring to? I'm referring to do the video for the the cover image, right? So if you go to certain fan pages or Facebook pages, you will see that when you go to the page at the top there, instead of an image, it's actually a video playing. And this video doesn't have to be long. This video is actually quite short. The purpose of that video is to get engagement or to attract someone to actually check out the page further. So with that in mind, this video is not meant to sell anything. It doesn't meant to have a lot of text and so on, but it is going to be brief. It's going to be punchy, and it's supposed to be cool, right? So that's all you need to keep in mind at this moment of time. So there could be some words and so on, and all the words that are available on this video are meant to be like the bullet points of what this business is about. So let's say the page is about it's a page about someone who teach about cooking. Okay, I'm just giving an example, right? Or you know what? To make it even more simplified that everyone can relate to, because to know someone who has a page that teaches about cooking may not be that common, right? But let's say a page that sells something. Let's take hairstylist again, which is the simplest one, right? Because everybody knows a hairstylist because everybody also cuts hair. So when we finalize which hairstylist that is, we want to create a video so that when someone goes to the page, right, then they will see this video. This video is going to be just a short video. It's more like a teaser video that basically gets attention and to make the hairstylist business or shop to look cool and impressive. So you will see lots of nice pictures, and it could be pictures put together to become a video. It could be clips of video where the hairstylist is blowing the customer's hair, looks like really good, curling up the hair, combing the hair, cut the hair, and so on, right? So just think about that, right? And because it's a short video, it means that you don't have to be too creative. Time out. By the way, it requires zero, I would say 1%, not zero, creativity from you, because when you use a software to create the video, you're using the templates that the software has. So don't try to be creative unless you are a creative person, unless you have experience doing videos. If not, then just use the templates that they already have for you. You don't need to think like how you should do the video and so on, right? If you do not know what I'm referring to, kindly watch the replay for idea number 4. I've given some example where we're creating video based on template driven. So now you're able to create this video and it takes you just like 2 minutes. But to the hairstylist shop, this video is very impressive because they're hairstylists. They don't go and learn on how to create videos. Do you see where I'm coming from? So there is value there. Okay, so the next step that you want to do to get started, to create this side income is this, is that you want to find 5 people, preferably those people who have their own business, and you should be able to find them. And what I want you to do to get started, it is just to do for them for free. Yes, for free. And that's how you start the business. So you're going to look for how many? 5, right? So let's say it's a hairstylist, it could be a hairstylist, it could be anybody. If someone that do fitness instructor and he has a page, or anyone that has any business, especially those small ones, not those big companies, just really small ones, just find them and say, all right, here's the video that I created for you. If you can find all the images, go ahead and create a video for them and give it to them for 100% free. This is how you start the side income business right now, by doing free project for other people. And the reason why you're doing this is because this is going to help you to get other people to pay for your service in the future, because you will not get someone to pay you if you do not have what we call a portfolio. So let me say this again so that it drills deep, because if you are not from the marketing world, so to speak, you may find this sort of bizarre and so-called unacceptable, that why am I spending my time, my resources for someone for free, right? So let's say that person is a hairstylist, right? There's 2 options. If they already have a page and they have a lot of images and so on, you can go ahead and create the video even before telling them or asking for their permission. Create the video and then give it to them. Tell them, okay, do you like this video or not? The whole thing is that you want them to use this video on their page. Now, the other option is that you can actually tell them, all right, so I have started learning how to do videos, right? And I've done some nice videos, and I thought that, hey, I saw your page do not have a video, and let me do it for you for free. And then they'll say, what is the catch, right? I mean, why would you do it for free? Now, if you like the video, all I want is that, all I ask back in return is that you will use my work. You'll use my work. That's all I ask for. I mean, if I created this and then you're not using the work, then it sort of defeat the purpose, right? I mean, why would I want to do all this and my work is not being used? And there's no obligation. Only use it if you find that it is attractive. You see how easy is that? So to create a video, the first time you create could take you a longer period of time, but eventually it'll take you maybe 30 minutes or something like that, and you can create a video, and there you go, right? So you give this video to your friend who has a business, whether it's a restaurant business, whether it's a hairstylist, whether they are selling food, whatever business that they do, doesn't really matter, right? As long as they has a page, as in the case, a Facebook page. If they don't have a page, you have a website, that's fine as well. So if you can do for 5 people, you have 5 case studies, as in like your portfolio, right? And if you have your portfolio, it's so much more easier for you to do for others in the future. So right now, what I want you to think is that, just think about, who I can think of that could use this video. I want you to think about that. Now, my question is to think about that, to think for that answer, not to think of it cannot be done. So if you have read this book called Who Moved My Cheese, I don't have it here right now. I didn't bring it back to my room here. Let me see if I have it or not. No, I think I left it in my office. So how many of you have read the book called Who Moved My Cheese? If you haven't, it's a good read. You can get it from any bookstore. Basically, the biggest lesson that I've learned from Who Moved My Cheese from that book, right, apart than many other lessons, is this. And this has been my mantra, this quote that I use when I have doubts, right? Is that, what would you do if you weren't afraid? What will you do if you don't have fear? Most people stop at whatever they wanted to do is because they have fear, or they have doubts, right? Or in other words, what would you do if you could not fail? Because when we think of things that we don't do, it's because we are actually concerned that we will fail. And failing before we even fail is because it is just fear. Fear means something that doesn't really happen yet. You see how crazy it is how our brain works? We are worrying something that doesn't happen yet, right? Uh, how could you fail if you haven't failed yet, right? I know, sort of confusing what I've just said, right? Grammatically, it's not even correct. But what would you do if you cannot fail, right? So this way I ask you, the challenge to you is that can you think of 5 pages, right, that may need a video? Maybe you have a friend who runs a Facebook group for whatever, for church, for a temple, or whatever it is, right? I'm pretty sure there are people who have Facebook pages. Do you see where I'm coming from? There's non-profit organizations, there are organizations, there are societies, there's so many pages that has right now. Can you think of a few? So once you have that numbers, then the whole thing is that to approach them and have that created. Now, if you have that created, if you have that, now it's easy for you to actually approach someone with a so-called a portfolio, right? And when you're approaching someone, which we'll share next week, like week 3, who you should approach and all those kind of stuff, how you should approach and so forth, right? You will now have more confidence internally because you have done it before, right? And also this is where you can so-called charge a fee because now you have some so-called case studies, you have some testimonials. You can be saying, hey, just so you know, this video that I'm going to do for you, we have done it for this church, or this temple, or for this mosque, or for this society, for this person as well. And then you just give the fan page or the page URL and show that is the work. As you can see, you're not the first person who are getting this. I've actually done it for someone else prior to this. Do you see how that builds the momentum for you to land a gig, G-I-G, a gig or a client? I wouldn't use the word client because we're just doing side income. We're not doing some big stuff. We're doing something that really, really simple, right? So you could charge this like 10 ringgit or 15 ringgit, something like really low to get started with. But if you just think again, if you want to make side income right now, right, and you can make, say, I'm just gonna say some number, right? Let's say 50 ringgit per day, right? Okay, 50 ringgit may be a bit high, maybe you never reach that because you're just trying to make some side income. Let's say you just make 20 ringgit per day or something like that, right? And let's just say on average, right? Then a month you would be able to make additional 600, but it's not going to be every day. That's why I say that sometimes you make more, sometimes you don't, and things like that. But do you start to see that this is such a simple to do side income that anybody can actually do with some determination, right? You could be a housewife and you can do it. You could be someone who is working and then you need some this side income. You could ask your kids to help you to actually do it, right? You could get your parents to do it, if they know how to use computer and so on. Now, isn't that better than, say, try to find some part-time job and so on? If you can make just a few hundred extra, that will be able to help you to pay some of your bills, some of your expenses, and it's not really that hard to do because you're just sitting in front of a computer and do some designs, and probably you also enjoy doing that. Like my kids, they enjoy doing design, playing with a computer, and so on. So that's not really like a chore, right? So I'm expanding the opportunity here so that you can understand where I'm coming from, right? So let's say if I can do this, if I can find people who wants it, and I sell, say, okay, I'll just do this video for you for 20 ringgit, let's say, right? And then I let my kids to do it for, I pay my kids at 10 ringgit. I'll split 50-50 with them, all right? So I'm still making 10 ringgit for not doing anything for that matter, right? So any money is good money when we are having white flag period. So just think of it this way. Instead of you today, go and withdraw your KWSP money to pay for your bills and expenses. Why not you don't do that so that it doesn't affect your compounding interest when you need the money, where you are old later on, when you want to withdraw the money. Because compounding interest work this way. Even though, let's say, you just withdraw 5,000 right now, right? And if you withdraw this 5,000 in the next 10 years, based on compounding interest, you're not losing 5,000. You're losing much more because of that. You could be losing 10,000 because of that. You could be losing 15,000 because you withdraw the 5,000 today. So let's not affect that so-called your savings, right? And try to find some other side income that can supplement the current expenses, right? So I hope that you understand how to get started. We're not going to talk about promote yet, because that's what we're going to do in class, the next week's class. And how do you approach someone if you want to offer the service? Okay. Now I'm going to give you like another idea for the design, but this is not more like an idea. This is more towards to start right now. This is a bit more I wouldn't use challenging, but harder to find case studies for yourself, because not most of your friends don't have a YouTube channel. Most of them don't have that, right? But let's just take YouTube channel for example. Let's say you go to YouTube today, right? Most uh, solo YouTuber, including myself, right? I just don't have time to do this. Is that we don't have thumbnails images. I mean, some of them have, some of them don't have. I just like I don't have time to do it, so I don't do that anymore. But most videos do not have thumbnails. So when you go to YouTube.com, professional videos, like a professional YouTuber, um, okay, I'll retract that. It's not just professional. Even some people will actually do that all the time. So before you click on the video, right, you'll see an image. This is called the holding image, right? That shows the image for that video. And many people who have a channel inside YouTube do not have this image. So this is a huge opportunity, because there are literally millions of YouTubers inside YouTube.com, right? Which means that you could do thumbnail images for all of these YouTubers, whether they're big, whether they're small, and so on. But when you're looking for those who actually don't have thumbnail images. So for the start here right now, because again, we're not in the promotion week yet, right? So for the start, it's the same thing. Instead of creating videos for fan pages to use at their cover video, you can create images. They are called thumbnail images for YouTube, right? And you can do that with Canva. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to Canva quickly to show you what I mean, okay? And all of these are, again, they are templates driven, so you're not supposed to be extra smart to play around with your creativity and things like that. You can just use the template. So this is at Canva, which I shown to you last week for idea number 4. So you can see they have all the templates available here, and one of it is called YouTube thumbnails. If I click on YouTube thumbnails, you will see that it also has some templates that I can use. And then let's say I'm just gonna go ahead and choose those free ones. Okay, these are all the free ones. If you upgrade, then you can unlock a lot of designs. And of course, if you are going to make some side income, I mean, it's gonna cost, I think, a ringgit a day, like 30 ringgit a month or something like that. And if you unlock for you all kinds of templates, I think maybe it's worth doing that, because it's just like reinvesting back into your business, because then you have an edge with more templates. But let's say I just use this, so I just click that, and now it comes out here, right? Do you see that this is how I can create a thumbnail image really easy? And then I just change the text accordingly based on the headline for that video, right? And of course, this one I could also change, right, with the YouTuber's picture and so on. And once I've done this, if I click save and click download, it took me like a few minutes and I have that, right? So this is how to create YouTube thumbnail without trying to be some fancy designer and so on. So let's go back to here right now. So this is the so-called second opportunity that you can start with that can easily design the YouTube thumbnail images that you can just do it just like that, right? Just use Canva and do that. So in this case, you also want to do the same thing. You want to find five YouTubers in a sense, right? And do the thumbnails for them so that you have your own portfolio. Now, the last part here, this is like if you want to go for the extra mile, but you don't have to. But let's say if you really want to have more credibility and things like that, but you really don't need to because when I go to week 3, we'll talk about how we find customers that are not really strangers. We'll cover that next week. But let's say if you really need to look more impressive and so on, then you want to have your own web page that sort of display your portfolio that makes you look a bit more impressive. And what you can do is that you can go to this site called About Me, which I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay, so I'm at About Me here right now. You can actually create a free page so that this free page that you create, it can sort of show some of the images where you can actually show your customers images as your portfolio. So then you have like about .me slash whatever your name is, right? So let's just look at maybe is there any example here? Let's see. Features. Don't have right now. Let's see if I just click one. Contact me. Oops, I can't. It's not clickable. Right. So there is no. Let's see if they have any sample image. All right. So they don't have, but you sort of can see how it looks like. Like a nice image and some details and so on. Right. So there's no sample. And if you don't pay, that's okay. You can just have all these feature here. So, okay, so I think this is clickable. Oh, no, it's not clickable, but you get what I mean, I hope, right? You don't need all this feature because you just need a very simple page, About Me page, to sort of display some of your portfolio if you have that. All right. All right, so there you go, and we have covered the first session where it's going to be on the lessons, which we have covered that, and then I'm saving the next. Right now we just have about 20 plus minutes, right, for Q&A and also to do live coaching for those who actually have taken any action or you want me to review and so on. Then I can do some coaching for you, right? Besides thumbnails and videos, we can also offer to create Facebook posts for brands slash people. Yes, yes. So in idea number 4, right, I had given some suggestions. But of course, you can do anything you want because that is like the model of it, right? But I've given specific ones to make it simplified because we're just trying to make some side income. Sometimes having more options will be a bit more overwhelming. Sometimes having less option and knowing exactly what to do is actually easier to execute for that matter. And we are also selecting the type of images or videos that most likely people don't have. So for instance, Facebook posts, for instance, for brands or for people, right? So just to give you an example, for brands, it is probably out of most people's league. I'm not referring to you, Eddie, because I do not know your background for that matter. Maybe you are a designer, maybe you are a freelancer, so that will work well, right? But for brands, they will usually want so-called proper company to do it for them or proper marketer to do it for them, not some people just from anywhere. You know what I mean, right? And then for people, chances are people who post on Facebook are already making designs for themselves, right? I mean, that's why they post. They post images, unless you can help them to create more images so that it saves them time and things like that. Maybe that will work. Otherwise, they're already doing it by themselves for that matter, right? Like for instance, for me, for my company, like I have my own in-house team Like if I need to create all those codes type of images and so on, I will have my own team to actually do it and so on. So I don't really need to get anybody else to do. And if I don't get my team to do, I already have my so-called outsourced designers to help me to do that for that matter. So what I'm trying to say is that, right, for people who are already posting in Facebook, this logically, yes, they are good potential customers, but logically, they won't need your help because they are already doing it for that matter. And like the one I give to you, for instance, right? Things that most people are not doing, like YouTubers. Not every YouTubers will have thumbnail image. Like for me, some of mine have, some of mine don't have because we just get lazy, we just don't do it. Fan pages, not all fan pages has a video. Most of them don't have a video, right? So you're on a spot for opportunities rather than thinking, hey, I can do everything for you, right? We want to zoom in where there's opportunity for us to make money. All right, great so far. All right, so that's a wrap for today's class, right? Remember, the action item is just this: decide exactly what you want to do. Pretty straightforward, right? And then find people who you can do for free and do it for them. So of course, before you do that, you want to create your own first and see and play around with the tool so that you can design some nice stuff, right? And once you have done for them, then you just gonna ask them, hey, do you like it or not? So this is like your own little test. If you go and do something for someone and you're doing it for free and they don't even want to use it, I don't think you can even charge 5 ringgit for it. You see where I'm coming from? So this is like a test. If you don't do this, then next week's class will not be able to proceed smoothly because you don't do this, right? Because you cannot promote something where the product, it is not in good quality. Nobody's gonna pay you for that. This is why you're gonna test right now. This is why when you create for someone, you give to someone and then tell them, okay, so now if you like it, please put it on your page. Please put it as the thumbnail. Please do it for whatever it is. All right, so there you go. That is your action. And hello to everybody. I'm really excited today because this is going to be the day 14 for the social project classes. And I'm excited because today we are going to cover idea number 4, which is the design and video work on how to promote the business. All right, just going to do a very quick recap, right? So, week 1, we cover 5 ideas. First idea is simple selling. Second idea is basic e-commerce selling. Third idea is Lazada affiliate program. And then we're going to have fourth idea, which is the design slash video work. And then fifth idea is live stream. Now, here's the thing. Idea 1, 2, and 3, they are all somehow connected with each other because they are related to e-commerce, more towards like physical products. When you use the word e-commerce, don't get too fancy about it. Don't think about, all those stores and all this kind of stuff. We're not building business here. We're just trying to make side income. So we're not doing any of those e-commerce stuff. The definition is e-commerce, basically transaction online, right? Nothing further, nothing fancier than that, right? So 3 of them are somehow related, where if you do one, you can do 3 of them, right? But on idea number 4, it is standalone, which is going to be very different. And when it comes to idea number 4, it requires only for those who have some, I would say, interest or some basic skill set in terms of design or video. All right. But if you've been through class 4 and also class 9, right? I've covered how you can achieve this by simply using templates from Canva or from Vimeo or from any other software that provides you templates so that you can actually do this with almost zero creativity. But you gotta have some creativity in terms of balancing the color, sort of feeling, all right, this color is good, this color is not good, that kind of stuff, right? So this is why I say that it is not 100% suitable for everyone. But if you find that this is something that works for you, then more power to you in that sense, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started today. And in class 14, I always forget the days. I've been doing these classes so many times, I sort of forgot, what class, what day it is, right? So it is day 14, right? So day 14 is how to promote the idea for number 4, design work slash video work, right? So if you have done that and then you have done the week 2's training, I've already shared how to get started. And the way how to get started is basically choose what you want to do, whether you want to do video or you want to do design, and decide which tool that you want to use, and all of those preparation that we've covered in week 2. And then the key thing that I suggested you to do in week 2 is that you will do for 5 people for free. And you're doing that is because you want to build your so-called portfolio and have some case study and to show others, which means your future potential customers, that hey, you have done some work for others and they can see real life example and display in that sense, right? So we have covered that. Of course, this is sort of like a summary of what we have covered. So now, how do you promote the business? And when I'm going to tell you this, you will see that it is simpler than you can think of, right? Well, the answer is really this simple. It is to go out there and start messaging, contacting your potential customers. I know there's no magic towards this, right? It's like, really, that's about it? Yes, really, that's about it. Sometimes the easiest way for you to make side income to just do what is so obvious rather than go in round in circles, right? Now, because of this, I want to give you an example and analogy so that you know where I'm coming from, right? So I've coached many students and so on. And I remember one time that I have a student and I told him about how to share in Facebook, right? And after I spent maybe half an hour teaching this student of mine, at the end of that, you know what he did ask me? He asked me, is there another way? It's like, I've just told you what works. And you are asking me, is there another way or not? So I'm speechless, right? Sometimes when things is so straightforward, people just don't see and they just don't do it. It's kind of funny, but that's just how people react. So now the question is that how do you actually message in a proper way, right? So the way how you do it is this. You're going to decide whether you're targeting what, like again, you got to watch or you got to attend day 4 and day 9 training to understand this whole picture, right? Okay, but we're just going to assume for now, but I'm not saying that you should be doing this. So let's say we're going to do Facebook cover video, right? And you have your portfolio and so on, right? So the question is, how do you message the potential customers, right? So to do that, the first thing that you got to do is that you got to target the customers. Now, when I say target, I'm not asking you to take a sniper and and look for who you want to shoot. No, we're not killing anybody in business. There are certain terms that these marketers like to use, like sniper, tripwires. I know I'm going a bit fancy, but I don't use any of those because why would you want to be a sniper? I mean, you are trying to help your customers. Why would you want to snipe your customer and kill your customer? It's such a bad metaphor, right? So when I use the word target, it means that you have to pick the prospect or the customers that you can give the most value to them, right? So which means that whenever you want business, and I'm not referring to building business but a transaction, right? Well, when I do something for you, you pay me money. When you do something for me, I pay you money. That's a transaction. That's called a business transaction, right? So when it comes to transaction, you want to always think that why I deserve to get paid, right? What do I give in return? And am I giving something that you need right now? Or, I mean, not now, as in like you need for whatever I have. If you don't have that, then you should not approach someone to sell whatever you want to sell. So going back to this, right? So you got to find the right profile. And the right profile that I would suggest, if let's say you are looking to create Facebook cover video, then look for businesses, especially small businesses that that are not fancy. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so usually, I'm not saying all the time. So please don't take this as a blanket advice for everything. And I'm not biased towards Chinese, Malay, or Indian. All right, so don't get me wrong. But usually, right, you look for non-English page, as in like Chinese, or as in like Bahasa, or as in like Indian. But usually, Bahasa and Chinese, you have more numbers, right? Because these are the businesses that usually are not that too, I would say, exposed or advanced, right? Like for instance, right, for my business, I'm in the English niche market, which is probably one of the most competitive niche market of all, right? If I go to the Chinese niche, it will be less competitive. If I go to Bahasa niche, it will be less competitive. Why? Well, very simple. If I'm in the English market, let's say I'm selling to John, right? So John could buy from anybody around the world that is selling in English as well. You see where I'm coming from? So let's say if I sell a book, right, and my book is in English. So John could buy the same marketing book from Albert in Australia or Janet in US to write similar content of the book because everything is in English. So it is highly competitive niche if it's in the same language that is the language that the world is using. Make sense? So if you go for the Chinese niche market, you automatically have much smaller niche, which is good, right? Same thing with Bahasa. So if first you pick on that and then you look for businesses, not personal profile, because personal, they don't really make money that much. They don't really understand the concept of investing in themselves in order to grow the business. They don't really see that, unfortunately. So you should look for local businesses, right? Small businesses. Now, what do I mean by small business? Example, right? Someone who sell kuih, 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 right, and have a fan page. Someone who sell some service for, let's say, I'm just looking at things right now, fixed computer service, let's say, right? Not big, just small, just like two people running the business. Someone who do catering, not like a big business sort of catering, all those small businesses, hairstylists, spa, salon, all those, they don't really care about all these media and so on because they're very offline, right? And there are plenty of these pages. I do not know how many, but I can just tell you there are so many in Facebook. And you can just do a search on Facebook and you search for whatever keyword you want. And then when that happens, you will be able to see there's this column called people, events, and so on. And then just look for pages. And when you click on pages, it will show all of the pages that resemble the keywords that you search for, right? So now, when you find them, you want to see that they don't have a video for their cover image. Facebook, like for instance, if you're in this community right now, as in a Facebook group, you see the image we use is just a white flag, right? Because there's a white flag, and I'm not using my own picture and things like that because this is not about me at all. This is about white flag, right? So we just use that white flag picture. So a lot of businesses just put an image, but it's not even designed, right? So you're looking for a business page that they just upload an image because it's either they're lazy, okay, or either they don't have any expertise to design a nice image. So this will be your ideal prospect, so to speak, to be converted into businesses. Make sense, right? So now you have identified that. Now I know the next question you may have, but who should I identify? It's up to you. The market, it's the ocean is your market. The market is your ocean. Whatever wording that they say, that's like the market is so huge. It's all up to you who you want to approach, right? If you want to be very topic based, that you just want to do for food related pages, or you just want to do for certain kind of pages, you can, but I don't see why you want to do that. You can just go for every kind of pages out there, seriously, right? So now you want to start contacting them, but you don't have to email them because all of these pages, they have their own inbox, right? So that would be the ideal way how you can reach to them. That's simple. Now, the way how you're gonna message them is that you got to position yourself as the solution provider and not that you're desperate to get a sale and so on. So here's what you can do. And I want you to be 100% honest when you're doing this, which I'm going to give you one example, which it's 100% honest because you are really getting started and you have zero customers, which is the truth. So you could message them and tell them that, hey, I saw your page and I realized that you have this nice picture on your page, but your page can get more attention, right? And make it look a bit more professional and attractive if you have a nice a video. Yeah, when someone goes to your page, they actually see that video, and that can actually increase the likes for your page. So time out, right? You got to tell them what is the benefit that they're gonna get. I mean, what does the video help them to achieve? Getting likes, right? And getting likes, you just need to focus on one key benefit, because these are all businesses which is not some internet marketers, digital marketers, and so on. So they are very basic, right? So to them, having likes is an advantage, which is true. It's an advantage. It's good for social proof, reaching out to more prospects, and so on. So now you tell them that you basically tell them about that, and then tell them the benefit of that, and then you're gonna give them some case study, and that's where your five friends that you have created comes in the picture. You gotta have some kind of portfolio. Make sense? Now, if you follow week 9, no, not week 9. Oops, day 9. I've been doing too many of these classes. Day 9, and I shared that you can even create a landing page to have some portfolio. So if you do that, if you take the extra step and then you do that, then you can actually send them to that landing page, which is a web page URL where it displays all of these 5 videos that you have created, right? But if you don't have, then you can just send in the link where the friend of yours who took your video that you created for them and they put it on their page. You can just send the customer or the prospect to the page URL. I know it's a bit confusing, so let me say this again, okay? So let's say you have now created for one, which is free, where you're not going to make any money. You just want to say, you just tell them that, hey, if I do for you, all I want is that if you like it, I just want you to use it. That's all I ask for, right? So you're gonna do 5 of these. Please watch day 9 if you are confused what am I talking about, right? So now you're gonna take one that you think is the best, and then this fella is now using the video that you have created for them, right? So let's say this is your potential customers or your prospects, so to speak, right? So now for this one, when you message them, after you tell them, hey, I saw your page, you have this image that looks nice, yada yada, what I just shared with you. If you forgot what I just said, just watch it again, because I also forgotten what I've said. All right. So you're gonna go there and then you're gonna say to them, okay, so you can put a video so that the video can help you to achieve more likes and so on. And here's an example. You're gonna give the URL of this page that's using the video so that this fella can see in live how it looks like, and it's look more impressive, right? So that's about it. So if you were to start messaging these fan pages, right, some of them would say yes, and they would probably want you to do it for them. All right, so there are 2 or 3 more things that you need to firm up before you actually message someone, right? So now you sort of know the template, how you're going to message them. The next thing that you want to do is that you want to know how much you should charge for, right? So this is a very interesting question because it's something that's very subjective. So I think the way how you're going to charge is basically to think again why you're doing this, right? What you're trying to achieve. So we will fall back to our original purpose why we do the social project. It is basically to help white flag, right? White flag will be people who are drowning or already drowned and needs to go up again, right? which means any additional side income would be good. Even for a few hundred extra, that would be great. So we are just trying to make a few hundred here right now. So we are not really that demanding because we just need to have some side income to pay the bills, pay for the grocery and so forth, right? So what is the so-called part-time job that people are doing right now, right? I think that the most common one will probably be the one that still has vacancy, would be Grab food deliver, right? Food delivery could be Food Panda, could be Grab, could be any other delivery, right? So if you were to do some research, right, I think they get paid about, let's say in Malaysia, you're looking at about 20 to 30 ringgit an hour. If they're hardworking and they're doing the work, right? So you're looking at 20 to 30 ringgit an hour. Now, I think that could be a very good benchmark. If you can make 20 to 30 ringgit in an hour with this side income opportunity of doing design and videos, I think it's an achievement. Would you think so? Let's be realistic. Would you think so, right? If you can make some extra money sitting at home. Now, if you were to compare, assuming that you can achieve this, right, and you can make this extra 20 to 30 an hour sitting at home doing this, right? If you were to compare this with being out there doing food delivery, they have costs. There's fuel, there's cost. There is some cost for the vehicle as well, the motorbike or the car. But there's also risk. Why risk? Because they are always on the road, and it's risky. It's risky because sometimes it's raining, sometimes the floor is slippery, sometimes red light, green light, and all this kind of stuff. You see where I'm coming from? So if you get to compare, I think staying at home and trying to make 20, 30 ringgit an hour is a plus point. Would you agree with me on that if you were to do a comparison with that? If yes, type yes, right? Now, if we can accomplish that, therefore we will know more or less how we're going to do our pricing, right? So if you want to make a 20 or 30 ringgit, it really depends on how fast can you produce the video then. So this will only fall back to your own skill, because I do not know about you. Whether it takes you 5 minutes or it takes you 50 minutes is up to you in that sense, right? But let's say it really takes you an hour for you to do that. Okay, let's say it really takes you an hour. So which means that with that in mind, I think it is okay for you to charge just $5 to $10 per video, right? Because then that will be a so-called ideal side income revenue that you can make for yourself. And it is also a very fair price, especially to the small businesses. They are not ready to invest a lot of money at this moment of time because they are small businesses, and on top of that, it is kind of like pandemic as well, so they're not really ready to spend in that sense, right? But let's say you can get it for $5 to $10, right? Now, because the cost of entry is relatively so low, they don't really need to think 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. They don't really think so many times to pay you just $5 to get it done. They start to see how easy or possible that this side income can be a reality for you. And if you just say just have one customer a day, right? You just make 20, 30 ringgit. If you do that, if you're hardworking, if you put in the effort, let's say 1 month, like 30 times $5, that's $150. $150 times 4, that's extra 600 ringgit on the table by just putting an hour a day extra. And you have made additional 600, where I'm pretty sure that you can pay a lot of things, right? But let's say if you charge this $10, do you start to see that you can even be making 1,200 a month for this? Now, what would that change in your life? Because now, if you were to be able to do that, you don't have to withdraw your money from KWSP. So you don't have to touch your saving, where your saving can help you to earn compound interest when you retire in the future. You see where I'm coming from, right? The extra 1,000 per month means that you don't have to be fearful of whether the government is going to hand out any subsidy or not, because now you are earning by yourself. Do you see how much this can actually help someone who is in need of money? And And I'm only talking to those who are in need of money, and that's why this whole social project is called social project for those who need the money, right? I'm not talking to people who are rich. I'm not talking to people who are already well off and so on. So I just want to be clear on that. So if you are someone who is very successful, rich and so on, this training is not for you. This training is meant for people who need how to make some side income. Okay, so with that said, you already know about your pricing, how much you could charge for. Now, can you charge more? Of course you can, but I would say that if you're just gonna get started, I think you should look at about $5 to $10, right? That's about it, right? And if you want to increase the price, you can eventually later on. It's totally up to you because this is your own venture. It's up to you how you want to go around with it, right? The next thing is that when you want to do this, right, I mentioned to you that you can be very honest with them. You can say that the reason why you're offering for only $5 or $10 is because you just got started, which is again the truth, and you are willing to do it at this affordable price, and then you can throw in a bonus, right? So you're gonna have a reason why, because why are you doing it for only $5 or $10, and on top of that you're going to give a bonus, right? It sounds too good to be true. So what kind of bonus? You can say that, okay, so if you decide to go with this, when I do the video for you, I'm going to give you unlimited revision, which means that, right, that if you don't like the video, I want to revise for you, revise it until you like it. So if you were to offer that, it's very hard for someone to say no, they don't like it. But just so you know, all of this is all 100% templates driven, so revision is not really that much work. At this moment of time, you just want your side income venture to kickstart. You're not too concerned about making the money yet. Because if you get started, you understand the flow, you understand how to message people, you understand the procedure, you know how to design, you know all of that, it becomes very natural process that you can continue to do it and to improve. And if you remember in my previous class, I mentioned about this side income. You could even outsource it to your children, right? Or anybody. You know, if you have a sibling and who is still studying, I mean, if they want to make some side income, they can. You know, you get the business in and pass it to them, and they do the design, and you split 50-50 or 30-70. It's up to you how much you want to split, but you get where I'm coming from, right? So it's all about you getting the momentum and make some money, and then once you understand how it works, it will be relatively very easy for you to get started, right? So that is another point that I want to mention to you. When you message them, you want to tell them the bonus that you are going to give to them. But at the same time, when you do this, it's also important that you want to set the basic rules there. Now, what is the basic rules? The basic rules is this, is that the video will not be more than 2 minutes long or something like that, right? Now, why setting these rules is important? Because you set the right expectation, but at the same time, this can actually help you to make more money from your side income. Here's why, right? If you're going to do the video for 2 minutes, right, and if they want to have more than that, you can always charge them more of the fee. So let's say you say it's $10 for, I'm just saying it's $10, it can be $5, right? Let's say it's $5 for 2 minutes, right? So let's say they say, hey, you know what, I think I want to be 4 minutes long. Then you can say, that's fine. And the fee will just be $10. Do you start to see how you have an immediate, the marketing technical word that they use is called upsell. I don't want you to get confused with this upsell, downsell, all this kind of stuff, right? We're going to keep things really simple, but this is like an extra upsell that you can make your entire order to become larger in terms of the revenue right away, right? So if you have from 2 minutes to become 4 minutes, from $5 to become $10, that's as good as you have 2 clients, as 2 customers. Do you see that when you just increase the revenue there, you save so much work, because now you don't have to look for another customer, because you can just service the same customer but give more to the same customer, right? Now, if you set the rules properly, there's always additional income to be added. So another rule that you can set is, like, for instance, right, is that we will use your voice, for instance, right? And then if they say that if they say they don't use their voice, then you can say, okay, you can use our voice. I'm just making this up. It doesn't have to be your voice, right? If you don't have that talent, don't do it. But you can always charge more for whatever additional things that you included in the service. Make sense? Okay. So that's sort of the wrap to give you a final blueprint on how to basically promote this service so easily and quickly without spending any money on ads whatsoever, right? Now, at the same time, what I've just given to you is a example, is one example that we are just targeting for Facebook cover image, where we are going to do a video for them. But if you've gone through class 9 and class 4, okay, I think takes a while. I can't remember the classes. I've given you so many ideas. There's so many different kind of images that you can create for social media, for products. There's so many different kind of videos that you can create, and we haven't even touched YouTube at all, right? So you can use the same process. And if you go to YouTube and then you look for all those videos, which is like a business, but they're not big, and they sort of require this service and they don't have any image thumbnail, you can always approach them by using the YouTube inbox messaging. You can use the same process. So I've given to you a framework that you can use this framework accordingly, depending on whether it's YouTube or whether it's Facebook, and what type of video and what type of image design that you want to do for them, right? Again, I'm just giving to you one example, as in like Facebook as the platform, and the type of video is for Facebook cover image, right? But there are plenty more opportunities, okay? And the last highlight that I want to share with you is something that's very interesting, is that this side income opportunity is very unique compared to the first three. Of course, this requires some additional what? Additional talent a little bit. And you're gonna be a bit savvier with the computer and have some basic design expertise, right? Everything else is templates driven. Is that this side income, it is not just limited to Malaysia. That's the best part, right? So if you think again, the opportunity for this is almost unlimited, because there are literally millions of fan pages all around the world. And there are, I was about to say millions of YouTube channels, but let's not go and do that number. I seriously do not know how many YouTubers in the world, but there are plenty of them. And plenty of them doesn't have thumbnail images, including me. I don't have thumbnail images. But yeah, please don't come and message me and say, hey, Patrick, can you hire me? Please don't do that. Please don't do that on your teacher. I'm trying to teach here right now, and I don't want to reject you and all this kind of stuff. Okay. All right. So when you go outside of Malaysia, once you sort of understand how this is done, this can become pretty good income, right? Because $5 to say someone who lives in US, it's very little, because it's apple to apple, right? $5 to you could be more, because you get the times 4. That's where the awesomeness comes in. That's how you can make over 20 ringgit, depending on the currency conversion, for just delivering a $5 value. You see that? So if you charge $10, you can make 40 over ringgit, almost 50 ringgit in today's currency, as the time of me doing this live trading right now. So do you understand that the value is a $10 value, but in return, you're making almost 50 ringgit? That's pretty amazing, right? But you see, if you were to do this to someone, do this service to someone in United States, to them $10 is $10, right? And if you do it for someone in Singapore, right, it's about $15 Singapore dollar. It's not that much. And if you do for someone in Australia, it's somewhere around 15 Aussie dollars as well. You start to see where I'm coming from. So if you understand this game and you start doing it and you start playing with it, you can start to see that this can snowball to pretty interesting side income that you can do. Did you get it? So this side income is unlike the first three, because this actually goes outside of Malaysia. But you start in Malaysia because that is the territory that you're familiar with, and you're gonna get started with something that you're familiar with the market that you are more familiar with. But the real opportunity is actually everywhere in that sense, like all around the world for that matter, for this type of side income, right? Now, of course, this goes without saying that when you message them, you're gonna get a lot of people rejected. I'm pretty sure that will happen, right? Maybe in fact, if you message 10 people, none of them responds to you. It's gonna happen. Why? The first thing first is that when you first get started, you do not know how to send message properly. You're gonna learn that from doing mistakes. And of course, you can go to google.com and do some of your own research and reading. I share with you that any ideas that are selected falls into these three category. One is that it is either low cost or zero cost to get started, right? The second one is that every side income ideas are given to you, right? After my 30 minutes of training, you can always go to google.com and youtube.com and do your own research, and that's the beauty of that. There are plenty more you can learn from the internet, not from me. It's done, I have nothing else for you in terms of courses and things like that. There are plenty of free content on the internet. Go and find it there, right? If you go to google.com and just search example, I'm just making this up, right? Don't use word for word, but you can, it's up to you. And you search how do I message someone in Facebook for business or something like that, right? I'm pretty sure there should be some blog or some article that's going to teach you that for free, right? So what you want from here, from my classes, is to understand the idea, the process, and on the strategy, depending on how you call it. And then you can go out there and do more readings for you to polish your skill and so on. There are a lot of free content available there. So a lot of people are going to not reply to you, one, because your message sucks, it's not impressive, but the second reason is just a numbers game. All right. So one of the podcasts that I like to listen is from Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Gary V. So he has a lot of interesting remarks and things like that. I can't remember which podcast or whether it's YouTube video. He was saying that there's this one guy, and he was this one guy was trying to get investors to invest in his startup or something like that, right? So he was talking to Gary V and says that I'm paraphrasing, I could get this 100% wrong. I'm just gonna say what I remembered. He was saying that I've sent all my proposals to all these VC and nobody accepts it, right? That Gary Vaynerchuk was asking him, so how many you send, right? So he was saying that he sent like 10 or 100 or something like that, right? Again, I can't remember exactly. And I cannot remember exactly what Gary V stated or advised him, but something like, dude, you gotta be sending 1,000 emails in order for you to get one person to respond to you. Something like that, right? Again, I do not know the exact number. And that was a so-called shocker for that person, right? Because it seems to be like too many. But that's where people don't really, I would say, determine to get the results, right? It's like, they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they say it doesn't work. They do 10, it still doesn't work, so they say it doesn't work. They have to do 100, they have to do 1,000, right? I don't know how many it takes for you to really say that, hey, this thing really doesn't work, right? Same thing with all this internet marketing stuff. It fascinates me when people say that, hey, I advertise on Facebook and I wasn't able to sell, I wasn't able to make money, all this kind of stuff. Then I would say to them, so how much is your budget that you spend? So they would say like $10 or $20, something like that. And then I say, okay, for $10, $20, how many clicks do you actually get? Let's say it costs you $1 a click. $20 means that you get 20 clicks a day and you expect to make money online. Total silence, right? You get what I mean, right? So a lot of people don't get it, right? So they think that, hey, if I just do that and then it's just going to work. This is why, throughout all these classes, right, the whole social project, I emphasize that we're not building business, because if you want to build business, you have to advertise the business to be successful. And chances are you don't have the luxury to advertise a business at this moment of time. All right? Why? Because first, you probably going to lose money, and you don't have that luxury to lose money at this moment of time. Second, to run ads, and it's not as simple as, go to a weekend class and then you can run ads. It's a skill set that you need to continue to practice. There's a lot of um, um, uh, learning process in order for you to know how to run ads. And running an ads, it is like it becomes part of you. And it's not about what to target. It's about everything. It's about holistic. When you see that, you're gonna know, okay, what is right, what is wrong. It's a skill set like trading stocks. I do not know anything about trading stocks, just so you know. But there are some people who can trade stocks really well. Some people, they attended how many weekend classes, courses, and they still lose money. It's the same concept, right? You need to lose so much in order for you to be good, just like trading stocks. So the same thing with running ads. You need to lose, you need to do it so many times before it becomes part of you. And when you see it, you know, all right, so this works and that works, and so on. And I do not know why I jumped to talking about ads. Oh yeah, it's because I'm pre-warning you that when you do this, when you send message to people, if you're gonna send five, you might as well don't do it because you're not gonna get any results, right? So when you first get started, you gotta make sure that you understand it's sort of numbers game for you to make this work. All right. Okay. So there you go. No sugarcoating. That is just how it is. I'm sorry if I didn't motivate you, but I'm not a motivational speaker. My job is to teach you with real life lessons on how you can make side income. All right. Send any questions or anything to coach, or give me some feedbacks. Okay, of the things that you have learned or you have benefited. So just to clarify, just now you mentioned about charging 5 to 10 per video. Is that in RM or USD? Um, what I mean is in USD. But if you were to do it for someone in Malaysia, of course you don't say in USD because they wouldn't understand what is USD. In Malaysia, I mean they understand what is USD, but why would they pay you in USD? You're Malaysian and then you're selling to someone in Malaysia, you're right? I'm using USD as a benchmark number so that you can relate to that. Of course, if you want to do a video for someone in Malaysia, you should say it's gonna be 20 ringgit per video or 15 ringgit per video, right? But at the same time, right, price, there's no fixed price. I just work it out, the mathematic of it, based on something that is commonly accepted, and it justify for the time that you put in that sense, right? So could it be 50 ringgit per video? It could, right? Or could it just be 5 ringgit per video? That can also be possible, right? So there's no exact amount, but this is like the guideline that you can go with. So I use $5 as in the US dollar because although this entire social project is for Malaysians because it's white flag, right? But someone could be from Africa who is actually watching this right now, right? So if I say in ringgit, that could be a bit confusing. So when I say US dollar, so they will just convert that accordingly to whatever currency that you're using. Okay, so there's one more questions comes in. Last minute from Cairo, need your suggestion if let's say we want to serve Malaysian and international market, do we need two different fan pages or just start one? Just start one. Don't think of anything else. Start one first. See some results. Then only you decide where you want to go from here, right? So I'm going to expand a bit here, and I'm just going to do this like a coaching to you, Cairo. Is that I've been coaching so many students, and most of the time, people who never get started is because they have these crazy plans of so many things that they want to do, and all these crazy ideas. When you use the word crazy, means it is ideas that may not be even realistic, right? And you're gonna do all this, right? What happened at the end, right? Nothing happened. So they become Mat Jenny. So everybody become Mat Jenny. You know, they like to, think, oh, how nice, if I start making money, so they start to calculate how much money make. Okay, if I sell 10 books per day, then I'm gonna make this money. I'm gonna hire someone to do the writing. I'm gonna do all this kind of stuff, right? It's all here, but it's not here at all. And for me, it's like I'll just go in there and then I'll just tear all this thing away and says, dude, just tell me what you can do right now that you're good at, and let's just go ahead and do that right now. And screw all the BS, forget about everything, just do this right now, right? Personally, for me, when I build my business, let me just lead into you my ultimate secret, right? I just have an idea, but I really don't have all the steps out yet when I build something, right? But I will just go ahead and do it. I've lost a lot of money through that process, but I've also made a lot of money through that same process. So let's say if I want to launch, if I want to sell this phone, let's say, right, online, I just gonna work out some basic plan, like okay, I need a website to do this and so on. Well, that's about it, right? I do not know like how it's gonna go from there, right? But I know the big plan. That's about it, and I will start do what I need to do right now in order for me to sell the first phone. Okay, that's how I train my mind to work. All right. Okay, so that's just how it goes. Right. Okay, so any other questions?